this as a surgery designed to remove the tumor and thereby save the patient in the process. It's a ban. It is a ban, period.
TikTok is in the fight of its life. Now, this is a long video, but I promise if you're interested in what happens to TikTok, you're going to want to watch it because you're probably going to hear things you've never heard before. That's because I was granted a rare on-camera, on-the-record interview, the first since Congress ramped up its attempts last month to ban the platform. I had no restrictions, so if you don't have time to watch this now, come back to it when you have a few minutes. Okay, you know, by now, lawmakers say TikTok poses a serious national security threat from China. And because of that, the safety of U.S. user data is at risk. Right now, a bipartisan bill is being considered in the Senate to ban the app in the U.S. if TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, doesn't sell off its interest. That bill already overwhelmingly passed the House, and President Biden said he would sign that bill into law if it passes the Senate too. And the House Speaker just introduced yet another bill that would potentially ban TikTok in case the first one doesn't pass in the Senate. For its part, TikTok has, at least publicly, been pretty quiet about all of this, instead letting their creators and users advocate for them on Capitol Hill. But I, like a lot of you, have real questions for TikTok about these threats and the data security of the 170 million Americans who use TikTok. So I flew to Washington, D.C. to speak with TikTok's Vice President of Public Policy, Michael Beckerman, about all the issues lawmakers have with this platform. I started with the most serious, China. Does China have access to U.S. user data?
No.
Does China have the ability to influence the thought patterns of the American users on TikTok?
No. So protected data stays here in the United States and is controlled by the American team as part of USDS. And I think a lot of these scare tactics to try to push forward a ban, and that's what this legislation is unfortunate. Because if the politicians address the concerns specifically that they have with all tech platforms, frankly, we have already put things in place to address that, and that's what legislation should be, not to ban one company.
Those things TikTok has put in place include a $2 billion state-of-the-art security system in Texas. You've probably heard of Project Texas, but not many of us really know what it is. Well, we do now. Project Texas is run by a subsidiary of TikTok called USDS, United States Data Security. As of 2022, all new TikTok data is stored there in Texas on U.S. soil in servers overseen by U.S. tech giant Oracle. TikTok says while public data on the platform can obviously be seen by everyone in the world because users post it publicly, the data the U.S. government considers sensitive or protected is shielded from everyone, including China, through this USDS system. Beckerman says the operation in Texas represents a level of tech security and oversight that doesn't exist in the social media industry, except it does with TikTok.
A lot of the important part of it is it's not just our teams, it's a separate team, and then we have third-party validators, companies like Oracle and other third parties that are able to validate the work that we're doing and ensure that we're accountable to securing data, making sure that the code and algorithm are being reviewed by third-party inspectors that can look into it, things that no other company has done. I would ask, other tech companies, make your code also available to third-party inspectors too, to make sure that it's doing what you say it's doing.
What does that mean when you say your code is available to third parties like Oracle,
Yep.
which is an American company? Everybody knows Oracle, right? So what does that mean?
To make sure the app is operating in the way that it should, make sure that there's no malicious code, make sure the algorithm is operating the way that you say it does and has transparency in that, these are the things that I think all companies should do. And if these are part of the concerns that policymakers are raising, that's an easy legislative fix.
Lawmakers who support these bills that would ban TikTok have not been able to say why Project Texas and USDS aren't good enough. They also haven't been specific about the exact national security threat that TikTok poses. And when asked, they repeatedly say things like, it's classified. All supporters of the bill keep saying is it's not a ban and China shouldn't have the ability to influence Americans.
The Chinese Communist Party has no First Amendment right to control TikTok any more than the Soviet Union had a First Amendment right to control ABC and NBC and CBS during the Cold War. As many of you know, TikTok is not merely a social media platform. It is the leading news source for the next generation. And the fact that we're putting the leading news source for the most impressionable minds in our society in the hands of our leading foreign adversary is an act of self-sabotage.
I think a lot of people are getting misinformation about the company and not getting the full story. Because the full story is if there are questions and concerns that people have about tech companies broadly, like data security, like transparency around the algorithm, how the code works. We've already addressed these, and we're willing to do more and continue to address it, and we think every company should.
And that's the message Beckerman kept reiterating to me during our interview. He says TikTok is already going above and beyond what their competitors do when it comes to protected U.S. user data security, but they're also willing to take it further by supporting a national data privacy law and working with Congress. But so far, lawmakers have not taken them up on that offer.
We're here at the table. We're happy to work with Congress and show even more about what we're doing, be more transparent. But I think this can actually be the solution that everybody's looking for. Because if you want to have comprehensive data security, comprehensive data privacy, it shouldn't matter the company that has the data. It shouldn't matter the company that you're trying to have privacy from. It should exist for all companies. And if they're worried about TikTok or other platforms, they can address it in national privacy law, and we're happy to comply with that. And we think that we're already going above and beyond what our peers are doing. And I think that would be a great solution.
And if Congress decides not to take TikTok up on its offer to work collaboratively on a data privacy solution and instead continues down this current path of forcing a sale or a potential ban, Beckerman says, well, TikTok is just going to keep fighting.
Look, we're focusing on winning this fight. The bill is a ban, and thankfully we have a constitution in this country, and people's First Amendment rights are very important. That's why it's the First Amendment, and we'll continue to fight for you and for all the other users on TikTok.
Again, it is not a ban.